Hi everyone, and welcome to today's reading activity. You can probably tell from this picture what our reading activity is going to be all about today. Yes, that's right, it's synonyms. Hopefully you remember learning about synonyms a couple of weeks ago. We're going to just refresh your memory about that now. Synonyms are words that have the same or a very similar meaning to another word. So we can see there a picture of a present. And another word for present is a gift. So gift and present are synonyms for each other. Then we have a picture of some children. And a synonym, or another word for children, could be kids. So today we're going to be matching synonyms to words that we find in our story. This is going to help us understand the words from the story that we might not be very familiar with. We might not know exactly what they mean. So if we can think of a synonym for that word, that will help us understand the story better. So to be successful today, we're going to play a game at the end of our story, and we're going to be matching synonyms to words from our story. So if you can do that successfully, that would be great. So make sure you're listening out for those words. Once you find that winning word, we're going to pop that answer in our grade 1 and 2 Learning from Home Google Classroom. All right, here we go. Goldilocks and the Three Bears, illustrated by Gavin Scott. Remember, an illustrator is the person who draws the pictures. I think Gavin Scott has done a really good job with these pictures. Those bears look really cute, not too scary. Once upon a time, Goldilocks was playing in the woods near her home. As she skipped along the pebbly path, her golden locks bouncing, Goldilocks suddenly stopped and sniffed the air. A yummy smell was coming from the middle of the woods. That word, suddenly. What do you think that means? She stopped suddenly. I wonder if it's got something to do with the way she stopped suddenly. Have you heard the phrase all of a sudden before? I think it reminds me of that, and that makes me think that this is something that happened quickly. So if she suddenly stopped, it means that she stopped really quickly. Okay, let's find out what that yummy smell was coming from the woods. Rumble, rumble. As her tummy grumbled loudly, Goldilocks followed the delicious smell. She soon found herself in front of a little house. "I wonder who lives here," she said. A delicious smell. Delicious. What do you think that could mean? I think you've probably heard that word before. Delicious. A good synonym for delicious would be yummy. Yeah, something that smells really yummy. Okay, let's find out who lives here. Goldilocks knocked loudly on the front door. Knock, knock, knock. But on the last knock, the door swung open. There was no one at home. Goldilocks saw 3 bowls of porridge on the kitchen table. "I'm sure no one will mind if I have a little taste of this porridge," she told herself. Goldilocks ate a spoonful of porridge from the biggest bowl. "Yuck!" she cried. "This porridge is far too cold." Goldilocks tried the medium-sized bowl. "Ouch!" she gasped. "This porridge is far too hot." It's an interesting way for her to describe the food in the bowls, wasn't it? Far too cold. and far too hot. What do you think she means when she says that? Can you think of another word that would mean the same as far too cold or far too hot? Maybe the word way could go in there. That was way too cold and way too hot. You can see the big bowl there. I wonder what a medium sized bowl would be. Can you think of another word we could use instead of the word medium? Medium sized? Medium kind of means in the middle. It's not big, it's not small, it's just medium. So I think we could use the word middle, just like I did in the sentence then. She tried the medium-sized bowl or the middle-sized bowl. Finally, Goldilocks took a mouthful from the smallest bowl. She sighed. This porridge is perfect. And she ate it all up. Then Goldilocks went into the living room for a rest. She saw a big chair, a medium-sized chair, and a tiny little chair. Goldilocks climbed onto the biggest chair. This chair is too big, she said. Next, Goldilocks clambered onto the medium-sized chair. The cushion were very squashy. This chair is too soft, she cried. Clambered, that's an interesting word, isn't it? Clambered onto the medium-sized chair. I think that means that she climbed up. It's another word for climbed, but maybe it was a bit tricky because it was so soft and squishy. It's tricky to climb up there. Then Goldilocks tried the tiny chair. This chair is perfect, beamed Goldilocks. Perfect. What does that word mean? I bet you've heard that word before. Your teacher has probably said to you, that handwriting is perfect. What do they mean when they say that to you? I think they're telling you that it's just right. It's the best that it could be. She was just getting comfortable when, crack, the chair broke into pieces. Oh no, gasped Goldilocks. Perhaps I should lie down instead. Upstairs, Goldilocks found a big bed, a medium-sized bed, and a tiny little bed. When she jumped onto the big bed, it was too hard. The medium-sized bed was too soft for bouncing, and the little bed was perfect. Goldilocks sighed happily. There's that word again. And the little girl crawled under the covers and fell fast asleep. Meanwhile, 3 hungry bears returned to the little house. They had been for a walk while their hot porridge cooled down. But the door was already open, and there were muddy footprints in the hole. The 3 bears returned to the little house. If you return something to somebody, you're giving something back to them, aren't you? Or like we return our books to the library. We take them back to the library. So when the 3 hungry bears have returned to their little house, I think that means that they're coming back. So returned, a synonym for returned could be come back. Let's find out who's made these muddy footprints. I think you and I know. And the bears are probably about to find out. Let's see what happens. Someone's been eating my porridge, roared Daddy Bear. Someone's been eating my porridge too, growled Mummy Bear. Look, squeaked Baby Bear. My porridge is all gone. The three bears went into the living room. "Someone's been sitting in my chair," roared Daddy Pig. "Someone's been sitting in my chair too," growled Mummy Bear. "Someone's been sitting in my chair," squeaked Baby Bear, "and they've broken it." Suddenly, the three bears heard a noise coming from upstairs. "Someone's been sleeping in my bed," roared Daddy Bear as he stepped into the bedroom. "Someone's been sleeping in my bed too," growled Mummy Bear, straightening the cover. "Someone's been sleeping in my bed," squeaked Baby Bear, "and she's still there." Goldilocks woke up with a start and screamed. The three bears watched in surprise as she ran off through the forest as fast as her little legs would carry her. And guess what? The three bears never saw Goldilocks again. The end. Oh dear. Goldilocks got very scared. It said that she screamed. If you're screaming, you must be scared. So when it said she woke up with a start, that must be another way of saying that she woke up feeling frightened, and so she screamed. And off she ran through the woods. I think she was very afraid that she would get in trouble from the bears, perhaps. All right. Let's have a look now at that synonyms game that I promised we would be playing. Okay, so here is the game that I promised at the start of our reading session. So in this grid here, I have some words from the story that we've just read. And the words are returned, delicious, suddenly, medium size, far too hot, and perfect. Hopefully you remember hearing those words in our story as we were reading and we stopped to talk about them. Now I really need you to turn your listening ears on because I am going to give you some synonyms now, and you need to listen to those and see if you can match them to the words from our book. Okay, so I'm going to say a synonym and you have to see if it's going to match one of the words there in the grid. If you think it does, you're going to write down the word that's in the grid in your book, and while you're doing that you should pause the video so that you can come back and listen to the next clue and you have time to write the word down. Okay, all right, are you ready? Listening ears are on. Here we go. The first synonym is way too hot. Way too hot. Which word from our story does that synonym match? Way too hot. You can pause the video now and write down the words from our story that synonym matches. Okay, the second synonym that I'm going to share with you, you need to be listening for, is came back. Which word in our grid means the same as came back? Remember, the bears came back from their walk? But in the story they didn't use that phrase. They had a different word. See if you can remember, and once you see it, you write it down in your book. Pause the video while you do it. Came back. All right, the third clue is quickly. Which word here in the grid means the same as quickly? Pause the video and write down the word that you think is a synonym for quickly. Okay, our next clue is middle-sized. You might see a word in the grid that will help you with that one. Middle-sized. Find the word from our story that matches that synonym. They mean the same thing. Pause the video while you have a go at writing that down. Okay, the next clue is the best or just right. Is there a word in our grid there that means the best that you can do or just right? See if you can find that word now and write that one down. Pause the video while you do that. Okay, so that should leave one word in the grid that you didn't write down. Do you have 5 words written down in your book? See if you can pick out the one that you didn't write down. Guess what? That word is our winning word. So now that you know which one it is, you need to go to our Grade 1 and 2 Learning from Home Google Classroom page, and you need to find the question that says, what was today's winning word? And that word left over that you didn't write down, that is the word you're going to type into the answer box for that question. All right, good luck. I'm looking forward to seeing your answer, and I'll let you know if you had the correct word for our winning word. All right, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.